All right, settle in, grab a cup of something comforting, and let's talk money. Welcome back to Personal Finance Pro, your dedicated space where we transform that knot of money stress in your stomach into a roadmap for money success. Seriously, we're here to help you feel empowered, not overwhelmed by your finances. Now, I know many of you are diligent. You've downloaded the apps, you've made the spreadsheets, you've tried to stick to a budget. But if you're still looking at your bank account at the end of the month wondering where it all went, or feeling like you're constantly treading water financially despite your best efforts, then this is for you. It's incredibly frustrating to put in the work and not see the results, to feel like you're doing everything right, but still end up broke or stuck in a cycle of financial anxiety. The good news? Often it's not about a lack of effort, but about a few common, often subtle budgeting mistakes that can quietly sabotage even the best intentions. These aren't character flaws. They're just tactical errors, easily corrected once you know what to look for. So if you're ready to finally get your budget working for you, instead of feeling like a straitjacket you're constantly trying to escape, then stick around. We're about to dive deep into 5 common culprits, and trust me, identifying and fixing even one of these can be a total game changer for your financial well-being. Let's get to it. Mistake 1. Not tracking every single expense, the sneaky budget saboteur. Let's kick things off with what is, hands down, the most pervasive and often underestimated saboteur of budgets everywhere. Not tracking every single expense. Yes, I mean every single one, down to the last penny. So easy to fall into this trap, isn't it? You're busy, life is hectic, and who has the time or energy to log that $3 coffee you grabbed on the way to work, or that $2 snack from the vending machine, or that $7 magazine you impulsively bought at the checkout? You might think, it's just a few dollars, it won't make a difference. Or perhaps you track the big things, rent, mortgage, car payments, utilities, and figure the small stuff will just sort itself out. But here's the hard truth, delivered with a dose of tough love from your personal finance pro. Those little expenses are like tiny leaks in a boat. One leak might not seem like a big deal, but dozens of them you're going to sink, my friend. That $5 daily latte? That's $25 a week, $100 a month, $1,200 a year. That occasional $15 lunch out when you forgot to pack yours? If that happens twice a week, it's $30, adding up to $120 a month or $14,440 a year. Suddenly, these insignificant amounts are adding up to hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars over the course of a month or a year. Money that could have gone towards your savings goals, debt repayment, or that dream vacation. Think about it. How many times have you looked at your bank statement and thought, where did all my money go? The answer very often lies in these unrecorded, seemingly minor transactions. It's the digital subscriptions you forgot about, the in-app purchases, the convenience store stops, the extra topping on your pizza. Each one feels small in isolation, but collectively they pack a powerful punch to your budget. The solution: embrace meticulous tracking. Awareness is your superpower. The antidote to this common ailment is straightforward, though it requires a bit of discipline, especially at first. Use a simple app, a dedicated spreadsheet, or even a good old-fashioned notebook to record every single dollar that leaves your possession. Apps: there are countless fantastic budgeting apps out there. Mint, YNAB, You Need a Budget, Personal Capital, Pocket Guard, Good Budget, to name a few. Spreadsheets: if you're a DIY kind of person, a spreadsheet, Excel, Google Sheets offers ultimate customization. You can create categories that perfectly match your lifestyle and track your spending in granular detail. There are tons of free templates online to get you started. Notebook, chai, journal. For some, the physical act of writing things down helps them connect more deeply with their spending habits. Keep a small notebook and pen in your bag or car and jot down expenses as they happen. The key, regardless of the tool you choose, is consistency. Make it a habit. Log expenses immediately, or at the very least at the end of each day. Don't wait until the end of the week or month, because by then, you'll have forgotten those smaller purchases. Why is this so crucial? Because awareness is the absolute first step to control. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Once you see in black and white exactly where your money is going, you're no longer operating in the dark. You might be shocked to discover how much you're spending on takeout, or on those daily coffees, or on impulse buys. This isn't about shaming yourself. It's about empowering yourself with data. This data allows you to make informed decisions. Maybe you decide the daily coffee is worth it, but you'll cut back elsewhere. Or maybe you'll realize that those small unconscious purchases aren't bringing you much joy, and you'd rather redirect that money towards something more meaningful. Start today. For the next 30 days, commit to tracking everything. It might feel tedious at first, but the clarity you'll gain is invaluable. It's the foundation upon which all other successful budgeting strategies are built. Mistake 2. Underestimating or forgetting irregular expenses. The budget ambush. All right, moving on to our second common budgeting pitfall. Underestimating or completely forgetting about irregular expenses. These are the costs that don't pop up every month like clockwork, but they are predictable. We're talking about things like annual or semi-annual insurance premiums, car repairs and maintenance, oil changes, new tires, holiday gifts, birthday presents, annual subscriptions, Amazon Prime, software, gym memberships if paid annually, back-to-school shopping, medical co-pays or out-of-pocket costs, vet visits for your furry friends, or even home maintenance like getting your HVAC serviced or your gutters cleaned. These expenses are like financial ninjas. They lurk in the shadows of your yearly calendar and then bam! They strike when you least expect it, or rather when you haven't planned for it, and suddenly your carefully crafted monthly budget is blown to smithereens. You find yourself scrambling, stressed, and often having to dip into savings meant for other goals, or worse, racking up credit card debt to cover them. It feels like a financial setback every time, even though, if we're honest, many of these aren't true emergencies. They are foreseeable. Think about it. Your car will need new tires eventually. Christmas does come every December. Your pet will need its annual checkup. These aren't surprises. They're just lumpy. And because they don't fit neatly into a monthly spending plan, they often get overlooked until they're staring us in the face, demanding payment. This leads to that awful feeling of constantly being sideswiped by your own life. The solution: tame the lumpy expenses with sinking funds. The superhero solution to this villainous problem is the sinking fund. Don't let the somewhat gloomy name fool you. Sinking funds are your best friend when it comes to managing these periodic costs. A sinking fund is simply a dedicated savings pot where you put aside a little bit of money each month specifically for these expected but irregular expenses. Instead of facing a $600 car insurance bill every 6 months and panicking, you proactively save $100 each month towards it. When the bill arrives, the money is already there, waiting. No stress, no budget derailment, pure financial peace. Here's how to implement sinking funds. Identify your irregular expenses. Brainstorm all the non-monthly expenses you anticipate over the next year. Go through your bank statements from the last 12 months if you need help jogging your memory. List them out. Car insurance, $1,200 annually. Vehicle registration, taxes, $150 annually. Christmas gifts, $600 annually. Birthdays, aggregate, $300 annually. Amazon Prime, $139 annually. Vacation, $1,200 annually. Home maintenance, estimate, $100 annually, $600 annually, 50-month. Car maintenance, estimate, $600 annually, $600 annually, 50 a month. Calculate the monthly contribution. For each item, divide the total estimated annual cost by 12, or by the number of months until it's due if it's sooner. Car insurance, $1,200, $100 per month. Christmas gifts, $600, $12, $50 per month. Vacation, $1,200, $100 per month. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to a separate savings account, or multiple, if your bank allows you to nickname them, e.g., car fund, holiday fund. This out-of-sight, out-of-mind approach is incredibly effective. If you prefer a more tangible method, you could use the envelope system with physical cash for some of these. By breaking down these large, intimidating costs into small, manageable monthly bites, you neutralize their power to disrupt your financial stability. It requires a bit of foresight and planning, but the payoff in reduced stress and increased control is immense. You'll no longer dread these expenses. You'll be prepared for them. Mistake 3. Being too restrictive. The budget burnout trap. Next up, mistake number 3. Creating a budget that's so tight, so restrictive, it leaves absolutely no room for joy, spontaneity, or even the occasional small treat. It's the financial equivalent of a crash diet. You might see some initial results, but it's utterly unsustainable in the long run. When you're first fired up about getting your finances in order, it's tempting to slash every non-essential expense to the bone. No more dining out, no movies, no hobbies, no morning latte, no fun, period. You tell yourself it's for the greater good, that you're being responsible. And while responsibility is admirable, a budget that feels like a punishment is doomed to fail. Humans aren't robots. We need a little wiggle room, a bit of pleasure, some things to look forward to. If your budget dictates a life of monastic austerity, you're going to experience what I call budget burnout. You'll start to feel deprived, resentful, and eventually you're likely to rebel. This rebellion often takes the form of a budget blowout, an uncontrolled spending spree where you throw caution and your budget to the wind, undoing weeks or even months of hard work. Then comes the guilt, the frustration, and often the urge to give up on budgeting altogether, thinking this just doesn't work for me. The irony is that trying to be too perfect with your budget can be the very thing that causes it to collapse. It's like holding sand too tightly in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the more escapes through your fingers. The solution: build in guilt-free spending, the 50-30-20 rule as a guide. The key to a sustainable budget is balance. You need to allow for some guilt-free spending on things that bring you happiness and make life enjoyable. This isn't about being frivolous. It's about being realistic and kind to your future self. A great framework to consider here is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% for needs. This portion of your after-tax income goes towards essential living expenses: housing, rent, mortgage, utilities, transportation, groceries, insurance, minimum debt payments. These are the things you absolutely must pay to live. Percent for wants. This is the crucial category for preventing budget burnout. This 30% is allocated to lifestyle choices: dining out, entertainment, hobbies, travel, shopping for non-essentials, that fancy coffee, streaming services. It's the fun money that makes life enjoyable. 10% for savings, debt repayment, above minimums. This slice is for your future self: building your emergency fund, saving for retirement, investing, paying down debt faster, like extra payments on student loans or credit cards. The beauty of the 50-30-20 rule is its simplicity and flexibility. The 30% allocated to wants explicitly gives you permission to spend money on things you enjoy, without feeling guilty. It acknowledges that life isn't just about paying bills and surviving. It's also about thriving and having experiences. So when you're creating your budget, consciously allocate a portion of your income to a fun money category or personal spending, or whatever you want to call it. This money is yours to spend however you wish, no questions asked, no guilt attached. Maybe one month you use it for a concert ticket, another month for a nice dinner out, and another for a new book or a video game. This deliberate inclusion of wants transforms your budget from a restrictive prison into a flexible financial plan that supports your life, not just constrains it. It makes the whole process more enjoyable, sustainable, and ultimately more successful. Remember, a budget is a tool to help you achieve your goals, and one of those goals should absolutely be enjoying your life along the way. Mistake 4. Not reviewing, adjusting the budget, the set it and forget it fallacy. Mistake number 4 is a classic, and it's one that can slowly erode the effectiveness of even the most perfectly crafted initial budget: failing to review and adjust your budget regularly. Many people put in a ton of effort to create a budget at the beginning of the year, or when they first decide to get serious about their finances, and then they kind of let it be. They treat it like a crock-pot meal, set it and forget it. But here's the thing: life is dynamic. Your income can change, hopefully for the better with a raise, but sometimes a job loss can occur. Your expenses fluctuate. Kids grow and their needs change. You move to a new apartment with different rent. Inflation impacts grocery prices. Your goals evolve. You might decide to save for a down payment on a house or plan a big trip. If you're not regularly checking in with your budget, you're essentially navigating your financial life with an outdated map. You might be consistently overspending in certain categories without realizing why, or missing opportunities to allocate new income towards your goals. It can lead to frustration when your budget isn't working anymore, when in reality it just hasn't been updated to reflect your life's changes. The solution: schedule regular money dates, your budget's tune-up. The fix for this is to treat your budget as a living document, one that needs regular attention and adjustments. The best way to do this is to schedule a regular money date with yourself and your partner if you share finances. Frequency. Weekly, especially for beginners. When you're first getting the hang of budgeting and tracking, a quick weekly check-in can be incredibly beneficial. This allows you to catch overspending early, see how you're tracking against your monthly goals, and make minor adjustments before things go too far off course. It might just be 15-30 minutes to review your spending for the past week and compare it to your plan. Monthly, for maintenance. Once you're more comfortable, a more thorough monthly review is essential. This is where you'll look at the bigger picture. How did you do overall for the month? Which categories did you nail? Where did you overspend or underspend? Do any categories need to be permanently adjusted for the next month? Are you on track for your bigger financial goals? What to do on your money date? Review your spending. Go through your tracked expenses for the period. Compare your actual spending in each category to what you budgeted. Identify variances. Where did you go over? Where did you come in under? Analyze and understand. Don't just note the differences. Try to understand why they happened. Was it a one-off unexpected expense, or is this category consistently underfunded? Did your priorities shift? Adjust for the next period. Based on your analysis, tweak your budget for the upcoming week or month. If you consistently overspend on groceries, you might need to increase that budget category and perhaps decrease another, less critical one. If you got a raise, decide how you'll allocate that new income. Check progress on goals. Review your savings balances, debt repayment progress, and any other financial goals you're working towards. This helps keep you motivated. Make this money date a positive experience. Pour your favorite beverage, put on some music, and approach it with curiosity, not judgment. It's not about scolding yourself. It's about fine-tuning your plan so it works better for you. Think of it like regular maintenance for your car. It keeps things running smoothly and prevents major breakdowns down the road. A budget that evolves with you is a budget that will serve you well for years to come. Mistake 5. No emergency buffer, flying without a financial safety net. And finally, we arrive at mistake number 5, a critical one that can unravel all your good financial intentions in an instant. Not building and maintaining an emergency fund. This is your financial safety net, your cushion against the unexpected curveballs life inevitably throws your way. Life is unpredictable. Cars break down at the most inconvenient times. Unexpected medical bills can appear out of nowhere. A beloved pet might need urgent surgery. You could face a sudden job loss or a reduction in income. These aren't just irregular expenses like we discussed earlier. These are often true, unforeseen emergencies that can have significant financial implications. If you don't have a dedicated emergency fund set aside, what happens when one of these events occurs? You're forced into reactive, often costly decisions. You might have to rack up high-interest credit card debt. This can quickly spiral, adding significant interest costs and making it harder to get back on your feet. Take out a personal loan or, even worse, a payday loan. These often come with unfavorable terms and high fees. Dip into your retirement savings. This can have long-term negative consequences, including taxes, penalties, and lost growth. Sell assets potentially at a loss or before you intended to. Borrow from family or friends. This can strain relationships. Essentially, without an emergency fund, a single unexpected event can derail your entire financial plan, sending you backwards and creating immense stress. It's like walking a tightrope without a net. One slip and the fall can be devastating. The solution: build your emergency fund steadily, your financial fire extinguisher. The solution is to proactively build that financial safety net. Start saving specifically for an emergency fund, even if you begin with very small amounts. Every little bit helps create that crucial buffer. Here's a roadmap to building your emergency fund. Start small, the baby emergency fund. Your first goal should be to save a small, easily achievable amount, often recommended to be around $500 to $1,000. This initial fund is designed to cover minor emergencies, a flat tire, an urgent dental visit, a broken appliance, without you having to reach for a credit card. Focus on getting this starter fund in place as quickly as possible. Even cut one discretionary expense temporarily if needed to fast-track this. Aim for 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. Once you have your starter fund, the long-term goal for a fully funded emergency fund is typically 3 to 6 months' worth of essential living expenses. Essential expenses include things like housing, rent, mortgage, utilities, electricity, water, gas, internet, food, basic groceries. Transportation, gas, public transport to get to work, insurance premiums, health, car, home. Minimum debt payments. It doesn't typically include discretionary spending like dining out, entertainment, or vacations. Calculate what this amount is for you. If your essential monthly expenses are $3,000, then a 3-month fund would be $9,000, and a 6-month fund would be $18,000. The exact amount depends on your job stability, income sources, dependents, and overall risk tolerance. Where to keep it? Your emergency fund needs to be liquid, easily accessible, but not too accessible. You don't want to dip into it for non-emergencies. A high-yield savings account, separate from your regular checking or savings, is ideal. It's safe, earns a bit of interest, and you can usually transfer money out within a day or two. Automate your contributions. Just like with sinking funds, the easiest way to build your emergency fund is to set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your emergency savings account each payday. Treat it like any other bill. Replenish if used. If you do have to use money from your emergency fund, and that's what it's there for, make it a priority to replenish it back to its target level as soon as possible. Building a robust emergency fund takes time, especially when you're aiming for 3 to 6 months of expenses. Don't get discouraged. Start where you are, with what you can. Even saving $10, $25, or $50 a week will steadily grow that fund. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a financial cushion to handle life's unexpected storms is truly priceless. It allows you to make decisions from a place of security, not panic. To conclude, turning mistakes into milestones. We've covered It's about creating a plan that empowers you to achieve your financial goals and live a life with less money, stress, and more money success. By understanding and correcting these common pitfalls, you can significantly improve your financial health and finally feel in control. So let's quickly recap the 5 common budgeting mistakes we discussed. Not tracking every single expense. Those little purchases add up. Awareness through tracking is your first step to control. Underestimating or ignoring irregular costs. Those predictable but non-monthly expenses, like car repairs or annual subscriptions, need a plan, and sinking funds are your answer. Being too restrictive, a budget that cuts out all fun is unsustainable. Allow for guilt-free spending. Remember the 50-30-20 rule as a guideline. Not reviewing and adjusting regularly. Your budget needs to evolve with your life. Schedule those money dates. No emergency buffer. Life happens. An emergency fund is your financial safety net against the unexpected. Recognizing these mistakes is the first and often hardest step. The next is to take action. Don't try to fix everything at once if it feels overwhelming. Pick 1 or 2 of these areas to focus on this month. Maybe you commit to tracking all your expenses for the next 30 days. Or perhaps you start setting aside $20 a week for your emergency fund. Small, consistent changes compound over time into significant progress. This journey to financial well-being is if it sparked a moment or gave you navigate your financial those smart money moves.